Is up, everybody, and welcome to Intel Gaming's kickoff of E3 2021. We have a jam-packed show. In fact, it's been crazy just meeting with all the partners here. We're going to be talking to Acer. We're going to be talking to Razer. We're going to be hanging out with iBuypower, CyberPower. We're going to be talking about. We're going to be hanging out with the fine folks talking about Chivalry 2. We have Overclocking. We have NUCs. We literally have so much to get through in just over 90 minutes. This may go 7.5 hours. I think Razer, we have, what, 3, 4, 5 hours of stuff just to come for them. But let's go ahead and jump into our first segment and talk about the latest Intel NUC. Pay attention to Beast Canyon. It's going to be awesome.
Hi, I'm Mark Sabatnik with Intel. I'm here today with Joel from the NUC team. We're here to talk to you about the NUC product line and how it benefits gamers.
Hey Mark, how you doing?
I'm good. Can you give us a little background on the NUC product line and some of the history behind the NUC?
Yeah, sure. So the NUC group came out of the old Intel motherboard group about almost 10 years ago. So the group decided to end the motherboard business, and that transitioned over to a new product. Something innovative, something small, and that's where the NUC was born. We innovate with our rich I/O, a lot of ports, and most of all, because of our performance. We always put in the maximum amount of performance into our NUCs, especially our gaming NUCs, without compromising noise or thermals or stability. So this is Phantom Canyon. Phantom Canyon is our latest 11th gen enthusiast NUC. Phantom Canyon has an 11th gen processor, also known as Tiger Lake U, and it has discrete graphics soldered down. Here we have Ghost Canyon. Ghost Canyon is our 9th gen extreme NUC. First, we have the element, and inside this element is the processor, the 2 SODIMM slots, and 2 M.2 slots. Basically, the entire computer is actually in this card. An end user can easily swap GPUs as they would on a standard desktop without having the hassle of having a gigantic tower. What you have here is our latest and greatest extreme gaming NUC. Our internal code name is Beast Canyon. Beast Canyon is based on 11th gen Tiger Lake H. We have the ability now to add up to a 12-inch graphics card. Beast Canyon is now a Gen 4 product. So the small size of NUCs, even with something like a Beast Canyon, it's still around 8 liters. You can actually put it in your backpack. The power supply is built in, so all you need is a cord and you're off, right? If there's a TV there, you just plug it in with an HDMI or DisplayPort cable. We don't compromise on thermals either. We've got 3 exhaust fans at the top, and all the heat, all the hot air is exhausted upwards.
Joel, this is super impressive and amazing. Can you give me or us a little more insight into what your team does and how you come up with these great devices and keep coming up with stuff that pleases us gamers?
In our lab is where all the magic happens. We have our thermal engineers that relentlessly work on solving heat problems, airflow, without compromising the acoustic aspect of the product. So we try to keep it within certain boundaries. We also have our very talented electrical engineers here that work on circuit design to make sure that the design is solid and stable. And we go through several iterations of boards, as we call them fabs, and we continuously test and validate the design. Our design process actually begins with the processor architecture. When we know that there is a new processor on the horizon, our team begins planning on the NUC. We look at the feature sets that the market requires. We talk to resellers and end users, and that's how we formulate our product requirements. From there, we go on to talking with our manufacturing partners and our engineers, start designing the product from the ground up. We are passionate about what we do. We love gaming machines. We love delivering products to the market and giving people what they want.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you, Joel, for talking to us about the NUCs and the NUC product line and what you do in the NUC group. It's very, very exciting, and I'm blown away by the products, and I'm sure those out there exciting to game are looking forward to getting their hands on these.
Well, thank you, Mark. The best is yet to come.
I know. Okay, so here's the deal. For those of you who've been following along with me since the beginning, you know that we kicked off with Ghost Canyon NUC when it first launched. So to see Beast Canyon, the fact that we can put in a full-size GPU, the Intel NUC element and all that other stuff, like I am stoked to get my hands on one of these and check it out. I hope I saw some people talking, it's like there's just a lot that comes out with a NUC, and a lot of people are actually pretty excited about that. It's like one of Intel's basically like little like hidden gems, and I'm excited to see what they're doing there. But that is not all we're here to talk about. I'm kicking off with, if you guys have seen me, you've seen my show, you know that I use Razer laptops. I got Razer here now. I'm going to go ahead and bring them on. We're going to talk about two pretty exciting things right now. We're going to be talking, of course, if you've watched Robeytech, you've seen us talk about the Tomahawk cases, but that's not the primary thing. We got, well, why don't you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started about...
Hey, guys.
I got to just touch it. Okay.
Hey, guys. My name's Leon. I'm with Razer, and today we're going to be talking about some laptops.
And I'm Jason with Razer, and here to talk about our desktops and our Thunderbolt solution.
Okay, well that sounds number one awesome, because all of the stuff that's on the table right now, people have seen on my show, and many of you guys have probably seen and used. But let's talk first and foremost about the pride and joy right here. This is the latest and greatest from Razer. Why don't you give us like the full rundown of what's different for this particular one?
Definitely. So this is our new Intel H45 chipset laptop. This is the Razer Blade 15 Advanced. There's a lot of cool features in our iconic design that we've continually enhanced and improved on year.
Okay, and then let's talk about a little bit about what are some of those things, like, because a lot of people, it's like, okay, it's got a 3000 series in it, it's got an H series, but what are some of the other things as we see Razer improve from basically from laptop to laptop to laptop that you guys look at specifically with these things?
So the first thing that we're going to be looking at for this generation, like I mentioned, is the Intel 11th Gen platform. So we're already looking at faster memory, faster storage, and it has Thunderbolt 4. To build on top of that, what we've done is we've added dual-sided Thunderbolt 4, so you have it on the left and the right.
Yeah, okay. Did you guys hear that? The point is that I think a lot of people, when you think about it, it's like there's only one on most laptops, but this one's actually got two, which, I mean, the thing is this is some of the awesome stuff that we get with like PCIe Gen 4 and Thunderbolt 4 and stuff like that from a productivity standpoint, to have a laptop that actually has things like that. So, that's super cool. Now, what else? Because I know that's not all.
Well, definitely with any Razer laptop, what a lot of people gravitate towards us for is, of course, the connectivity. So we have a variety of connectivity from USB-C, from USB 3.2 Gen 2 in Type A, as well as a full-size HDMI. But we've done other things this time around to improve heat and thermals, so we get better performance, because a lot of gamers out there are trying to get the most out of this mobile platform.
Yeah, and then I think that's one of the things that you and I were talking a little bit about before the show, right? Because one of the things is like we had a little time to talk about like specifically with the heat and the things that improve there. And so can you go a little bit more into what you did from a heat perspective to improve thermals? And then you gave some numbers too, which was pretty awesome.
So normally you guys don't see a lot of it. We do have it on our website talking about it. We try to improve the performance because we see a lot of feedback from users. When they're using the laptop, they're saying, hey, I'm getting 80 FPS, which is great. I want to go even higher. How do we do that? So we usually sit down and we say, how can we improve the performance? Thermal is always an issue that we see in laptops because you're limited by the amount of space you have. So what we've done with the Razer Blade 15 this year is we've enlarged that vapor chamber. So with more room in cooling, you have better thermal headrooms where you can go a lot higher in heat. We also have increased the number of fan blades. So previously, before, we would be around 44 to 63 fan blades, depending on the SKU that you have. We now have up to 88 fan blades, and even our heat exchangers, we've made them thinner so they can have more area to dissipate the heat.
And I think one of the things that we talked about, and I think putting that all down into like just specifically for those people is like, well, what does that mean? Like he just threw out a bunch of numbers. What it means is that essentially because of the improved efficiency for cooling, as this thing, it has more room to heat up. And then the other thing too is like fans don't kick on as often, all that other stuff. And it just makes the experience of using the laptop better. Yeah,
and definitely it's not saying it has more room to heat up, but it stays cooler at the same performance level that you guys have seen before.
Yeah, and that's a great way to basically just to boil that down. Now, I think one of the things that's really nice is like just how well made the laptops are. And I think the thing you were talking about is like there's a lifestyle to having Razer and a lot of. What are some of the cool things that you've seen people use these kind of laptops for?
Well, definitely it has that iconic design, and right off the bat, the first thing everyone has told us is, well, we love the look, we love the feel, but we don't like the fingerprints. So one of the things that we've incorporated this time around is an anti-fingerprint resistive coating. So it actually reduces smudges on the laptop body itself. So that's something that hopefully everyone enjoys out there. What you just mentioned, Justin, is things that we can use in terms of the day-to-day. And the pandemic has definitely changed that for all of us. So this time around, what we've done is we've incorporated a full HD camera as well as a quad mic array. So you now have better clarity when you're trying to connect with friends and family, when you're on work conference calls. You can show people in the camera and they can actually see it because you're getting a full 1080p versus other laptops out there that are only running 720.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing is like, the world's changed, and I think it's awesome to see you guys basically modifying with it. So with the addition of the camera and everything else, like people are just gonna have a better experience connecting over distances, which is super critical. What else? What else can we expect in terms of what are some of the other things that we can expect? Because I mean, it's not, even though it looks the same, there's some differences in the form factor a little bit too, right?
So we've actually made a thinner version. So Razer has always been known about being the world's thinnest. We've made something even thinner, and it's still the world's best, right? We have an RTX 3060 that's a full millimeter thinner than what we were looking at before, so you're even more mobile. It's lighter than ever. And it still has all of its functionality where it has interchangeable or socketed M.2. So users that want to upgrade their M.2, change out their DDR4 modules, they're still able to do so.
Which is awesome. Yeah, which I super appreciate. Now, what are some of the, so you talked about the thinner 3060, but that's not the only model. What are some of the other options that you have? Because I know there's OLED and all that stuff. So what else do we get? What are some of the other choices people do?
So there's definitely a wide variety. We want to make sure that we satisfy all types of users, from gamers to productivity users. And later on, we'll talk about some of our other productivity parts or other units that we have. But overall, we have SKUs ranging from a QHD to a fast 360 hertz to even a 4K OLED touch display, where if you want to do content creation, you need that high clarity in color gamut. That one's for you, right? If you want that full out performance with the 360 hertz, then you go for the full HD. Or if you kind of want a mix of the two worlds, then you go with the QHD.
And the other thing too is, like, I think, you and I were chatting, but it's like even the experience of buying when you purchase a Razer, a lot of people, it's like it's a premium product, but you guys know that. And so the other thing too is it's not bogged down by a bunch of additional stuff. Like all in all, you guys think about all of it, from the end user experience to even just like fingerprints and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of intricacies in when we go about developing the laptop, and a lot of things that are behind the scenes that people don't really notice until they use someone else's laptop or when they come over and use a Razer laptop. They'll notice the differences where we have that ecosystem of Razer Chroma, right? We're able to pair it with our monitors, we're able to pair it with our keyboards and mice, but other things, for example, like we also have no bloatware. So that's one of the biggest things that we've heard a lot of feedback from. People don't want to have antivirus software or pop-up blocker software already installed. They want to choose the one that they want.
That makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, the thing is and the other thing that's super great about this is, like, then you can pair this with some of your other productivity stuff already. Like, for instance, we have the Thunderbolt dock right here. Why don't we talk a little bit about this? Because I think stuff like docks, and I don't know, for those of you who probably, like, with the world that we've had now, specifically with the pandemic, et cetera, is like, there's a lot of unplugging and plugging in laptops. And so you'll have cables sticking everywhere. But when you have options like this, let's talk a little bit about how this helps you from that scenario.
Yeah, you're right, Robey. So what we wanted to do is try to simplify the lifestyle around gamers and productivity itself. So when we look at the Thunderbolt dock, it has a single port pass-through charging on the front. So literally, when you have your battle station, you've got your Raptor monitor, you got your desktop, you got everything out on your table, that this will enable you for very rapid plugging and unplugging of your system. And you don't have two USBs over here and your mic and your headphones and everything, cluttering all the ports. So we really tried to solidify that and simplify it all in a single design. And
it has the same, again, it has the same look. You guys want to have like that just overall premium quality. Now, what are some of the things that you guys might hook into some of this? Because I mean, a lot of times when people think about docks, it's like, well, what do I plug into it and all that sort of stuff. And the thing is you have things like monitors, et cetera. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so everything is driven by USB-C. We have USB-C on the front, which is pass-through power to your laptop, and then we have multiple USB-C ports on the back, as well as USB 3.2 and an RJ port. But what we we can do on these USB-C ports is actually drive external monitors. So you can run 2 at 4K or 1 even at 8K resolution.
And I think that's the thing is like a lot of times, like I think when you think about like you have your battle stations and you may have your desktop computer, but from a productivity standpoint, sometimes just even having the monitor is an OLED and pretty as it is, right? Sometimes you want something like, yeah, I want that. But sometimes you want something like that just to do things like a little bit bigger or whatever it is, just to make productivity that much better. And that's where something like this enables, right? And so you don't have your PC to, like cable management, guys, come on. Can I get an amen about cable management? Thank you. Something fell. It was so proud about the fact that it was so excited about cable management. But this just makes it look cleaner as well. And so I think cleaning makes it feel efficient and all that sort of stuff. So I think something like this, again, you should take a look at it, guys. I think it's one of those things, especially as we move it, like as the world opens up, I still feel like this, like having 1080p cameras, having that productivity and options for mobility, and this just makes something like that a whole lot better.
Exactly. And it's also powered by Thunderbolt, which is Intel's technology, Thunderbolt 4. So it gives you the fastest speeds possible.
Yeah, and then now and again, you're talking about like 8K. Those are things that like we'd look at like, you know, like 4 or 5 years ago off of a laptop. That just wouldn't even be something that was possible, right? And again, you could even use something like this with a desktop as well, which
100%.
is
Yep.
Speaking of desktops, we have a couple cases up here. Now, I know if you're my audience, these are going to look very familiar, but why don't we talk a little bit about what we have here and what we're looking at with the Tomahawk series here?
Yep. So Tomahawk are what we call Beauty and the Beast. Very, very powerful desktop solutions. It's a premium build across all of the little details across the chassis, from its airflow design, the fact that it's got magnetic filters, double glass on the front and the back, the way that we re-engineered the hinges so they're actually sandwiched on the inside of the chassis, so you get that solid pane of glass. It's all RGB lit, and it's perfect in ATX and an ITX size.
And we were talking before, right? Like a lot of people that's a Land Cool, you know, Lean Lee, and even this one looks like a Lean Lee, but these are reimagined in a lot of ways from the bottom up. So can you talk a little bit about, like you've talked a little bit of doing the hinges, but there's more than that just even inside, right? That you guys have changed a bit too, right?
Yeah, specifically on the ITX, we looked at, where does the power supply go? How do all those cables get mounted in there? We really engineered it from the inside out and took every little piece of detail into consideration so that you're carefully, crafting everything in those scenarios. And you've had that experience. Just a couple weeks ago, you did build out 2 systems. Yeah. And so you got to see, kind of that craftsmanship and the little bit of eye that went into everything to make sure that we're trying to deliver the best experience for the customer.
And let me just tell you, and we'll close it out with this because, again, as a PC builder, thank you so much for making the Chroma cables so thin, right? We already have enough that we have to jam in the back, right? So to just even have that for the Chroma module and stuff like that is awesome. And again, I just want to let you guys know, we did do thermals. A lot of times when you see closed cases like this, you're like, how's the airflow? In fact, the airflow on this is actually fine. They have a lot of room for basically, especially if you're using high static pressure fans, so do not look at these and think that you're not going to get the airflow you want. They did think through these cases, and they're actually really a lot of fun to build in. And we have whole videos, if you guys want to check those out, even on my channel, that show you end to end. Anyway, guys, super appreciate you guys being here. Super excited to get our hands and obviously to test one of these. And I know a lot of people are going to look forward to basically at least having their loved ones look so much better on that 1080p camera, which is like, hey, Grandma, what's that? Is that no, that's just a pixel, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, guys, that's it. And we're going to move on from here.
Hi, I'm Mark Subotnick here with Intel, and I'm here with Clint from the Overclocking Lab today. We're here super excited to learn more about overclocking and what goes on in the Overclocking Lab. So my guess is that you've got some amazing thermal solutions, cooling solutions, and you're stressing the heck out of the silicon that we make here. Is that at all accurate at what goes on in the lab?
Definitely. So that's one of the more fun parts of the job that comes towards the end of our projects, where we have all the features up and running. The chips are running at full speed, and then we try and get just that little bit more out of them. So some of the tools that we have in our arsenal, right? We have, of course, liquid nitrogen, which is for the more extreme overclocking. Those are the people that are going for the world records and competing at that level. And then we also do pay a fair amount of attention to the gamer, the content creator, the enthusiast at home that might have, a more conservative water cooler. They're not sitting there pouring liquid nitrogen on their system all day. They just want to get the maximum amount of performance out of their system that they can with a reasonable setup. And memory performance is actually one of those areas that we've really put a focus on in the 11th generation products, both on the desktop and the mobile sides. The Extreme Memory Profiles is a technology that Intel created. It's fantastic. Basically, it's a second set of timings and frequency that is preloaded onto the module by the manufacturer, where you can go into your BIOS and automatically load those overclocking settings for you. So it takes the guesswork out of memory overclocking.
That's really
Intel additionally has a certification program, so you can go to the Intel website and look at the list of modules that Intel has tested with the platform that you intend to buy. So you can go and get a module that's matched with your motherboard of choice. The liquid nitrogen process, there's the light and frost effect. So if we happen to drop some on the floor, like there'll be these little droplets that'll just skitter away. So liquid nitrogen overclocking. We have our platform set up. We have our liquid nitrogen pot. This is for giving the liquid nitrogen a place to sit and remove the heat from the CPU. We're wired up with a thermal probe, the temperature sensors on your motherboard and on your CPU. So we have a special setup so that we can tell the temperature that we're going for. So you'll notice that we've gone to quite a bit of effort here to pack the board with paper towels. If you look at the board very closely, it's actually covered in liquid electrical tape to prevent issues from condensation. Liquid nitrogen evaporates very quickly, so it creates a cushion of gas that the liquid just kind of skims off of. We do it to find limitations that we wouldn't be able to encounter just with a more conventional cooling solution. So it's very illuminating to cool it down, to remove temperature as a factor completely. And then, we can increase the voltages. We can try and push the frequency as high as we can. And sometimes we find things that we wouldn't find with a more conventional cooling solution. Overclocking, I think, is essentially very difficult to do that remotely, right? There's a lot of stuff that we do where you need to be in front of the system. A lot of our tests have some element of risk to them. We're kind of pushing some boundaries. I wouldn't say that they're dangerous, but we do tend to go through our fair share of hardware where it's good to be somewhat physically near it so that you can slap the switch and save as much of the board as you can.
So thank you. I hope that you enjoyed our time learning more about what we do at Intel, specifically to what we do for you as gamers. And we hope that you have an amazing rest of your time at E3.
Oh, you know what, honestly, so I've had a chance to do LN liquid cooling basically once, and he is not kidding in terms of how absolutely complicated that is. Everything from basic, I mean, we didn't have liquid electrical tape. We basically did it with Vaseline, and generally, like, I was scared to death, but it is pretty cool how far you can push things. And the other thing I don't know about you, because I got to see the videos just right before, but actually getting a chance to see that they found bugs or issues pushing it the way that they did, because they know, like, people like, Gamers Nexus and Jay and those guys are going to do competitions and things are going to come out. So I think it's cool to see something like that. And I'd love to actually, like, at some point in time, have a room like that we could do the same thing in. And I think you guys would totally enjoy that as well. Well, I'm going to go ahead and bring on our next guest right now. CyberPower is in the house. Obviously, I have a system right here, obviously, Lian Lee, but let's go ahead and bring him on. And yeah, come on in. There he is. Why don't you introduce yourself? And we are looking at a very popular case, but more than that. But yeah, let's kick it off with you.
Oh, hello, everyone. I'm Jeremy from CyberPowerPC. And yes, right here, what we have is special edition Lian Li. It is the Summit 1G. It's the Lian Li PC011 that everybody knows, but it does have the RGB front here with its logo. And then also even has a signature on the back where the normal DeBauer little badges has his signature there. But yeah, this is going to be sent directly to Summit 1G. It's going to be one of his streaming systems. What we have inside, of course, is an i9-11900K with a Z590 Aorus Pro gaming motherboard. We have an RTX 3090, some custom cabling, and then our CyberPowerPC RGB fans, and a Deep Cool Castle CyberPowerPC RGB liquid cooler as well, and a 1,000-watt power supply.
So how did this whole thing come? Like I said, it's going to Summit 1G. 1G and all that sort of stuff. But how did the whole thing kind of like come to be that you guys would build a system like this for him?
I mean, we're always, I mean, as you guys know, we do sponsor a lot of streamers and stuff like that. So when it comes to PC building, we try to focus like on what their needs are. So we decided to go with closed loop liquid cooling just because it doesn't have to cut down any of the time for him. So he doesn't have to do any type of work on the system. It's already a closed loop. He is ready just to go in and game. 3090, obviously one of the best graphics cards out there on the market. The i9-11900K, I mean, with its increased PCIe lanes, allows him to, you know, if he wants to add a capture card in or even add more storage, I mean, he has the headroom to do so. And then the overclocking capabilities obviously is there as well.
So how long until he gets, because I think he's actually watching, no, I'm just kidding, he's not actually You freaked out for yeah. He's watching right now. He's like, I've been waiting for this PC for how long? And you just keep showing it on the roadshow. But like, when does he actually get a hold of the actual PC? Do you guys know?
It's going to be a couple weeks. I mean, we have to do some testing on it. Obviously, you know, we got to do some burn-in GPU, CPU tests to make sure that the system is ready to go. I mean, he plays games for 14 hours on end, so we want to make sure that the cooling is just right inside the system. Want to make sure that he's able to sit there and game for those long period of times without having any hiccups.
Okay, and then so let me just ask, just because realizing this is for somebody like Summit, like what was he a part of the like choosing the case and stuff like that, or was he pretty much like, hey, I trust you. You just give me what I need. What was the?
So in the past, he had his hand and he did pick what type of cases. But I mean, right now, since the COVID and he's been busy with a lot of the streams and stuff like that, we just got in contact with his manager and he was like, hey, these are the specs that he's kind of looking for, and then we just go ahead and pick the parts, and then the Lian Li case. This is his custom case that we have selling online on our website right now, and. We want him to be able to show it off and be able to talk a little bit about it on his stream, so that way he can, get it out there to his audience himself.
Okay, and you mentioned, you said this is closed. What is it? Let's talk about closed versus open loop a little bit about that.
Yeah.
You want to just go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So open loop is a custom loop, as they say. It has its pump. It has a reservoir that has liquid inside of it, and then it pumps through whether you have it attached to the GPU or the CPU. And that's we do have that available on our website as well. And then right here we have an all-in-one, which is the pump and the CPU and the radiator and the reservoir is all connected into one singular loop instead of it going through an open reservoir where you can put in your own liquid.
And guys, I think you guys would be super happy because if you're looking at this, you're looking at a different PC right now, but on this one, like you can see that the pump the actual reservoirs at oh, whoa, sorry.
Well, you okay there?
The reservoirs, the res is at the top, the pump's in the right place, it's in that ideal thing. Steve would be proud, as we like to say when we talk about the Gamers Nexus stuff. I know a lot of people, like every time we show one of these up, especially with a pre-built, but a lot of times you guys think about stuff like that. You guys are going to do burn-in testing and things like that.
Yes.
So when somebody buys, and so that I think some people may not know, why don't you talk a little bit about what CyberPower is for CyberPowerPC, because some people may not know that. I have a large audience of like DIYs, but they may not know who CyberPower is. So talk a bit about that.
Yeah, so we're CyberPowerPC. We are pre-built systems. On our website, everything is completely customizable, obviously with the brands that we carry. You can go on our website. We have this thing called Easy PC, where you're able to choose the budget that you're looking for. Some of our prices start as low as around $700 and go as high up as tens of thousands of dollars if you want to customize your systems that high. But I mean, we also sell in retailers like Best Buy and stuff like that, and Amazon. Those are primarily pre-builds. They're not configurable, but on our website they're completely configured. You can go in, change the case that we have available. You can change the fans, you can change the CPU, GPU, the whole nine.
Yeah, and so I think that was one of the things that I think it was, let's go take a step back and talk a little bit about the purchasing experience for CyberPowerPC. It's like when you go onto the site and you basically load it up, it's like you have a couple of different options. You talk about the Easy PC option, which is like, hey, I go in, like I want a PC that runs this number of frame rate. And then you can go all the way down to, like you said, like you can change, like on this one, we're seeing RM1000X Corsair PSU. So you can go through the whole thing and customize every single part, huh?
Exactly. So, I mean, just looking at this case, like you can change this case. You don't want the Lian Li PC011, maybe you want a Corsair 1000D, you know, you want a Super Tower case or something, you can definitely change that. You want different fans? Okay, maybe you want the new Lian Li cases, the ones that are, you know, magnetically stick together or something, you know? So all that stuff. Yes, exactly. So all that stuff is customizable on our website.
And then you also said, the other thing too is we're going to show a couple pictures here. They actually do have open loop systems that you can order as well. And I think a lot of times that's the part that a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to buy a pre-built system like this. But now, like, these are examples where you're seeing there's a 1000D right there. That's a 1000D. That's only $400. I'm just kidding. There's it's way more expensive than that.
You might have to add a couple zeros.
Yeah, you have to add a couple zeros to that. But here you're looking at it. These are all custom loop systems that you can order via their site. And you have the what are some of the options in terms of the custom loop, open loop stuff that you can customize? Do you know?
Yeah, so I mean, we have, you know, the PETG hard tubing, you know, stuff that it comes pre-bent. Obviously, we're not going to send you the parts and you do it at home. But it'll all be bent, obviously. And then we also have soft tubing. We also have some copper and chrome tubing as well. That's like, it's copper plated chrome tubing or vice versa. Did I say that right?
I think so. Yeah.
But anyways, but yes, we have that available. You can change the different types of liquid. That also kind of wraps into our AMP series systems as well. So that's also another series or line of systems that we have. It's our accelerated maximum performance series where we basically overclock your guys' systems going up to like 10 to 30%. And that all kind of wraps into, you know, having the proper cooling and the proper power and stuff like that.
Okay. And then, so I think somebody was talking about there is like, hey, if I could build my own water-cooled system, I would be super proud. And I think that's one of the things with open loops is a lot of people, it's like, it is daunting. I mean, people are watching me do it right now on the show, and we're doing another one on Monday. It's not an easy process, but I think a lot of people really enjoy that look. So if you're looking for a good option, you can go online, basically configure all that stuff right there within on the CyberPowerPC site and go from there. And then you can also, if you want to just check out some of their systems, some Best Buys actually have them. So if you wanted to just go see them in person as well. Now, you guys have something coming up here pretty soon for the futures, like with the Anime Expo and stuff like that. We have some of these systems we're going to show off here. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's going on there?
Yeah, so AX has been, we've been partnered with Intel for quite some time doing AX, maybe I think like 4 to 5 years now. Obviously AX is going to AX Lite, which is like an online, so we won't be there in person, but we do have giveaways. We'll be giving away 2 systems. The specs and what type of wrapping is going to be determined. We haven't announced that yet, but just something for you guys to look forward to. You know, pay attention to our social media and stuff like that. We'll be posting when we will be giving away these systems. But yeah, but I mean, as you guys can see right now on screen, those are some of the wrap cases that we've done in the past, and you know, everybody loves them.
Those are legit super cool.
Yeah, we get them, you know, professionally wrapped and stuff like that. So the vinyl on it is really,
yeah, it's really great.
Nice.
I love the colors, and then all in all, the theming and everything that goes along with it. And so again, we'll be seeing the announcement what that is here pretty soon. I think some people are talking about it right now, and it's like I think one thing that we always you know I've covered in my channel, and a lot of times like because we have a lot of DIY folks, is that these are still great options, and there are companies like CyberPower and stuff that use premium component systems. Like you're looking through this, like everything in here is name brand from the motherboard, the power supply, but then you can go down to budget like $700 and all that sort of stuff, and you have those options as well. And again, they do things like they show you like, hey, what is the frame rate on World of Warcraft or Fortnite and stuff like that. So it's very cool in terms of it's very cool in terms of ensuring. Sorry, I get distracted by the pretty. It's very cool in terms of ensuring that you're getting what you want out of the system without having some of the headaches that are going on right now, and even just putting a system together. And then also comes to stuff like warranty and all that other stuff as well.
Exactly, and it's all covered. And like another thing is too is like if you just want to dabble in being getting into PC gaming, like you can just buy a budget level system around $700, and eventually, once that like 1 year or 2 year warranty is up, you can actually put your own components in. It gives you a nice platform to build up your own system.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things is like, again, this is a very popular, the 011 Dynamic is a very, very popular system. And then the other two is like, again, these are standard, a lot of cases, normal DIY cases that you could just buy yourself independently. And like you said, those guys have thought about it. The building experience is nice, and you can go and upgrade on your own as well. And then, like I said, we have some other systems that are up here. We
we should probably talk a little bit about
talk
that
a little
one.
About that
That's
one back
just been in the back. But this is one of our own custom cases right here. This is our our Amethyst case, you know, we worked with, I'm not entirely sure what manufacturer it was, but we worked with them and came up with a design. It's a full glass panel on the front and on the side there, and it just gives a really nice, sleek look.
And you guys do, so you guys do some case development and other things like that as well.
So we also have like our Cyber brand as well that is like our custom case. You know, we have the Cyber like medium, XL, and large, and then we have the Amethyst, and then we have a couple other cases as well that are coming up.
Oh, okay, awesome. I mean, all in all, I think one of the things that we always like to do when we highlight, especially build brands like CyberPower and stuff like that, is just the options that I think you basically put the nail on the head. Is like, this is a great thing to kind of start growing into.
Exactly.
They've got the connectivity and everything else. And then again, you can choose Intel and have the 11th gen Intel stuff is all an option for in here. And then Summit System itself actually does have an Intel 11th gen as well.
The i9-11900K.
Okay, awesome. Well, I super appreciate you actually being here and hanging out and stuff like
Thanks
that.
for having me.
Do we have any other questions from folks online if we want to get into some of those things from there? But I think Summit's probably pretty excited about actually getting a hold of his system. And then, sorry, that does remind me, some of the stuff that you talk about, with all of the systems that you guys do, is you talk about the burn-in and all that stuff. There is a standard barrage of testing that you guys do before you ship a system out as well. Is that true?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it goes through rigorous testing. You know, I think it goes on for at least 3 to 4 days before we actually ship it out. So that's why our lead times are a little bit longer, because we want to make sure that, you know, your GPU is getting tested to make sure that there's no issues with it. And then, of course, your CPU, RAM, the whole nine. So we do MEM tests, do the CPU Z, like burn-in test, the GPU, what is that? I forgot. I'm blanking. I'm sorry, guys. But yes, we do have a specific test that we run on it. But yeah, it goes through a complete test, you know, make sure that the liquid cooling or that the CPU cooler is mounted properly, so that way the CPU is getting the proper cooling and stuff like that.
And so again, building confidence for the people who basically push that. So
Exactly.
again, if you're looking for an option, here you go. Great systems with a great configurator that allow you to basically choose that stuff. So that allow you to choose systems that you're confident in, that you know have been tested, and then you have the warranty to back it up as well.
Yes, sir.
Well, guys, we've talked a lot about desktops right now, but what about laptops? Well, let's go ahead and jump into a video segment to talk about Intel's new Tiger Lake for laptops, and let's learn a little bit about that.
Hi, I'm here with Nick from the Client Computing Performance Lab at Intel. And this seems like an awesome place here. Clearly a place that gamers would love to be. I'm curious if you could give us a little idea of what goes down here in the lab.
Well, as you said, this is the performance lab, so we deal with everything performance, including our latest 11th gen Intel H series products. When you talk about gaming, that's one of the things we're really passionate about in this lab, and understanding game performance is what we really care about. So we listen to a lot of what the gamers say. We're also passionate gamers here in this lab. You know, we take that knowledge, we get early access to some of our hardware. We start trying to determine, you know, how does our performance line up? You know, what do we need to do? What knobs do we need to look at? Is it frequency? Is it cores? You know, a lot of that really requires us to do a lot of gaming. We'll sit down, we'll use tools to allow ourselves to measure the performance. Now, that sounds like the most glorious task in the world, let me tell you.
It does.
I love it.
So you're getting paid to game.
It is getting paid to game. But you know, sometimes what that means is taking and running the same 5 minutes of a game across 10 different systems, 3 times per system. So there's portions of games that I love, that I hope never to experience again. But that's what it takes to truly understand, you know, the difference in performance from one system to the next.
Amazing, amazing.
The product that I'm responsible in this lab is the H series product line. And just recently, in the past month, we've launched the latest H-based laptops. So here we have one of the latest top-end systems. It's the MSI GE76. It comes with our latest i9 paired with RTX 3080 NVIDIA graphics. We're actually running Chivalry 2 on a 4K display. Our 11th gen provides that performance so that you can play games at 4K with your notebook today. This Intel branded unit that we have over here is actually 16 millimeters thin. When you think about a performance-based gaming laptop paired with RTX graphics, coming in at 16 millimeters is just absolutely amazing.
It's mind-blowing. And that's running, from what I can tell, it looks like it's running Maya and Unreal. I guess what I'm taking away from this is this lab focuses on not just how the game is played, but how the game is made.
Well, we talk about performance in this lab, and performance is more than just gaming. We care about all aspects of performance, and I know we're talking to gamers today, so yes, absolutely, game development requires performance. With our new 11th gen, you can run Maya, you can be working on a 3D model, you can have that linked to the Unreal Engine. What that means is that you can actually be working with the model and seeing it rendered real time inside of the game engine. So now, instead of exporting your model, importing it into your game environment, you can make a change and you can see it real time.
Off of something this small.
Off of
With this
something
much
that
power.
small.
That is just mind-blowing.
One of the great new features of these laptops is they do come with Thunderbolt 4. We talked briefly about the Maya demo. We're actually connecting the Wacom tablet over the Thunderbolt connection to be one of our external displays, so that we can be interacting with the actual stylus inside of Maya. You know, really enabling a rich experience. There's so much that you can do with Thunderbolt, connecting everything, including your 4K displays, like when we were playing Chivalry. You can do all of that with a single Thunderbolt cable. So we have a number of different designs here from a variety of our various OEMs. We have the new Razer with the OLED screen here in the center. And not only do we have the ability to attach discrete graphics and storage, we can actually attach more than one storage device directly to the CPU. We could do RAID 0, giving you really that pinnacle of performance. There's new technologies that are coming from Microsoft in the future, direct storage, where storage performance is going to make a difference. When we talk about being able to do RAID inside of these platforms with Gen 4, I mean, that gives you the ability to have significantly more storage than you've had in the past.
Well, thank you, Nick. This is amazing. I assume that, like me, there's plenty of people outside that are going to be jealous of the fun that you get to have here in a lab and call this work, but we'll let you get back to it.
Well, yeah, no, I'm so glad that you're able to make it into the lab, Bot. You know, it's been amazing.
Okay, guys. Yeah, I would like to hang out in that lab as well, though as somebody who has actually done Q&A, I wholeheartedly agree that sitting there and playing the same segment of game over and over again is not as awesome as it may sound. You don't get to sit there and play games, but still super cool to see them do that kind of testing. Guys, right here in front of me, I have two incredible systems, and you know me, I like hardware. I've been told to I can just now start to touch them, but I'm actually going to be joined right now with Eric. Eric over at Acer. We're talking about these two laptops right here. Eric, why don't you first start with a little introduction and tell the fine folks here on the show who you are, and then we'll start getting into these fine pieces of hardware that are sitting on the table in front of me.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you. I'm excited to be a part of E3 and talk with you and the audience. I'm Eric Ackerson, and I work for Acer. I'm Senior Product Marketing and Brand Manager. I'm a PC enthusiast, and I started my journey quite a while ago by building my own PCs and then overclocking them in the hopes, but I wasn't always successful, of being able to outperform friends playing games. So fast forward from then to now, and it's been a while. I won't mention the games I played, but because that'll tell you how old I am. But basically, all that experience and history means I'm kind of the maven that people I know turn to for advice about systems. And now more than ever, this is really an exciting time in the gaming market because we're seeing all these new technologies, these new platforms that allow for vastly improved experiences.
Okay, well, why don't we start off with like the general question, because we're talking about new technology. Obviously, we have Tiger Lake CPUs in both of these systems here. Why don't we talk about what Tiger Lake has unlocked for Acer and their Predator line of laptops?
Well, I'd say notably the 11th Gen H series processors have a few things that Acer can build around as a foundation for these systems. A new core microarchitecture. And within this family of CPUs is the world's fastest single-threaded mobile processor. The platform has powers. It's designed from the ground up for enthusiasts. So there's 3 times the platform I/O bandwidth than has been available previously. I'm really excited about PCIe 4.0, direct to the CPU. Also, integrated Thunderbolt 4. And overall, these CPUs offer 2.5 times the total PCIe bandwidth compared to the 10th Gen series. And finally, kind of one last point about this whole family is that they have direct access to high-speed GDDR6. attached to the graphics chips, and that means better performance, higher frame rates, and lower latency.
So when you think about like, and tell me a little bit about the Predator line of laptops, because I know Acer makes more than just the Predator line, but these are more kind of targeted at gamers, right? Specifically, am I getting that right?
Mostly right. So
Okay.
when we launched, it was, but that's a good summary to start from. Predator was all about gaming, and we've learned that users can't be easily fit into one box to describe I'm a gamer or I'm this. And so as we've learned about the user segment, our lineup has evolved. And so we've split it from just being Predator to now there's two sub-brands, Predator Helios and Predator Triton. The Helios is more the traditional gaming system, the workhorse, if you will. And then because we've identified that users are a little bit different, the Triton is more of a thin and light with a focus on the ID, the design, the aesthetics, so that it doesn't scream gamer, but it has enough power to do everything somebody wants. We also learned, by the way, that a lot of users were buying high-end gaming systems, but they weren't gaming. They just needed the power to run their business, to do the creative workflow that they have. And so they want to be able to take those devices into a setting and not be embarrassed with all the bells and whistles typically associated with a gaming system.
Yeah. So we have two of the systems right here. Do you want to talk a little bit about this one? And obviously, this looks like something that obviously wants to take off. But let's talk a little bit about just what the specs in there is. Obviously, this is the Helios. This is the gamer. The one that you talked. It's more not necessarily for gamers, but it is at the same time. So just wanted to segue into that.
Yeah, so I can't see what you're holding.
Oh,
but,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so I'm holding the Helios. Just so you guys know, this is, what do you mean you can't? Hold on, I'm going to send it with my mind powers. Did you get an image yet?
Received,
Oh,
yes,
good. Okay,
thank
perfect.
Yeah, that's part of the killer Wi-Fi that's built into these to broadcast signals. The Predator Helios is the workhorse, so it's going to be a little bit thicker than the Triton line and more the traditional form factor and size. What you're holding is a 15.6-inch laptop, and the configuration is with a full HD display running at 144 hertz refresh. Powering the system is the latest Core i7 11800H processor. It's paired with the NVIDIA RTX 3060 laptop graphics, 16 gigs of DDR4 memory, and 512 gigabytes of PCIe Gen 4 SSD. And as I mentioned, really fast performance from PCIe Gen 4.
And when you think about the use case, I mean, again, with the use case for this, do you see this as something that a lot of people are going to take on the go, or is this something that, like, all in all, like, people just, like, this is a desktop replacement, or is it something in between?
So it's something in between. We have some that are even more desktop replacement oriented, and then the Triton, which we'll talk about after this, is more the on-the-go, fits in a wider variety of use cases. So the Helios is really just your solid performance gaming system, and there are going to be configurations with more RAM, more storage, higher end graphics, but that particular configuration is part of the Amazon hand-picked selection, so it gets curated and promoted quite a bit, so you'll see it there. And beyond the great performance that Intel and the graphics bring to the system, there are some things Acer have done that enhance performance as well. Mostly we focused on cooling.
Yeah, and I
really
see that here. Yeah, right here in the back. Yeah. Go ahead, keep going.
It stands out. Yeah. So we're now on our 5th generation of the cooling solution. This is something we're calling the 5th generation AeroBlade 3D fan. Long kind of marketing name. It means that we're constantly improving. We're learning from what we've done before. We're tuning it to make it better. And this fan is all metal instead of plastic, which means we can have thinner fan blades. There are 89 of them. And what's really interesting is the edge of each fan blade, even if I had one to show you, it wouldn't really translate because it's so small, but the edges of the fan blade are serrated, like you would find on a steak knife, or more importantly, the inspiration for this comes from owls, their feathers and their flight mechanics, to make sure that we can move air but not create too much noise, because as you're probably aware, owls are silent killers, right?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Okay, so that's the Helios line. Now, I did have one more question, right? Like, as you guys see new technology come down and you guys think about developing a product line like this for the first time, what's kind of the building blocks that you kind of work through from that? Like, it's like, do you think about cooling, like form factor? Like, what is the R&D process to build something like this? I've always been curious, and like, I get a chance to talk. I don't care about the rest of the audience, Eric. It's just me and you right now. Me and you.
Yeah, that's fine. I love a chance to geek out. It's really hard to answer that, not because I'm not allowed to or afraid to or anything. It's just, it can vary so much from one cycle to another, one particular platform to another. Where do we intend to sell it? So I guess we kind of start with, what's the purpose? What are we trying to accomplish with this product? And who is the intended audience? Who's going to use it? And then we research either with kind of forums and user surveys, or just from experience with selling products in the past and our close relationship with our partners, our retail partners, will develop for certain needs. Cooling is a part of it. I mentioned that. So I wanted to point out that we had, the focus on the fans and cooling, but we also look at performance. The cooling is part of maintaining the performance, and Helios is that workhorse I mentioned. And so by cooling it, we're able to make sure that the system doesn't throttle, that the performance is consistent and solid, and nothing is slowing down because it's trying to keep it under a thermal envelope. It's overcooled to be able to get that performance. On the flip side, the Triton 500 SE, which is more of a thin and light. And like I mentioned, users are kind of all over the board. This is more curated specifically for creators. So they're looking for the performance of a gaming system, but not necessarily the aesthetics. And I think, although I can't see it, unless you send me that mental image again, I'm pretty sure you have a sample of the Triton 300 SE. So this is such a special product that we put special in the name. And this is a product that's going to be available at Best Buy. It's exclusive to them, and it has some unique features. It's an all aluminum chassis. It has a really neat matte finish to it with a crosshatch kind of on the lid of the chassis. So it doesn't have all the bling bling lights.
Oh, yeah.
Even the Predator logo has been minimized and kind of put up and out of the way rather than right in the center, so it's not a focus. And it has a nice iridescent kind of coloring to it, so it does get a little attention. But it's all the mechanics, the mechanical engineering that went into, once again, make sure it operates silent but solid, because people doing 3D rendering, working in a studio environment, don't necessarily want to hear all those fans. There's not just those two fans, there's a third fan in this system, and something we call vortex flow, where we have tuned the cooling paths, put foam inside and put everything through there so that the CPU and GPU are at optimal performance, not shutting down. And the design, I mean, it really comes down to design. This is under 20 millimeters in what we call the Z height, or the thinness of the chassis. So it's sleek, portable, powerful, going to be able to get everything done. And if I haven't said it yet, I'll mention now, it's a 16-inch screen, which is not typical on laptops.
Yeah, and I was looking. That was one of the things that's probably one of the things that drew me to it right away, was just the different, like almost how the screen was just so different. It's like just not what I'm used to seeing with a laptop in general. Now let's talk a little bit, because I mean, I think a lot of people's like, oh man, some of these might be there. These sound really cool. What are we talking about from a price standpoint for the two different ones?
Yeah, so the Predator Triton 500 SE available at Best Buy. I'm looking for my notes right now. I'll go back to the Predator Helios. The first one we talked about, we're looking at $1,249. And like I said, that's an Amazon handpicked, curated product that'll be available in July for $1,249. The Best Buy product, the Triton 500 SE, is a little bit more. It's pretty much the same config. It's the i7-11800H, RTX 3060, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 SSD, and I think we're looking at $1,799 for that. You do pay a little bit more for that more premium chassis. There will be other configurations as well, by the way. It'll top up all the way to the Core i9 11900, and there are configs with RTX 3080 and up to a terabyte of SSD.
Okay, and you're sending me one of those right away, right? Like that's already in the mail, and I basically, yeah, I can get home, and that's basically good. Okay, I'm good. All in all, well, Eric, thank you so much for joining us. Like I super appreciate. These are great, and all in all, like I love the different options that people have, and the fact that you guys didn't do just trying to put everybody in a box. I think that's such a great way in terms of trying to think of like hey, instead of a one size fits all, you actually have options, and even all the way down from like unique aspect ratios, different size screens, and all that stuff. And again, guys, you can check some of this stuff out at Best Buy, obviously on their site as well. So super appreciate your time, Eric, and we will chat with you more later.
Thank you.
Well, guys, what did you guys think of what we have seen so far? I mean, we have, like I said, we're about halfway through the show right now, and we have covered a ton of different stuff. You guys have seen us talk about the NUC and specifically the Beast Canyon, which has me a little bit just stoked inside. We've covered Razer. We talked to them. I want to check out that monitor, if you don't mind. I would love to basically get some more time with that bad boy, and on top of just checking out their new laptops and stuff as well. And then, of course, I got a little bit of chills thinking about the overclocking and doing the LN cooling again. That was also super crazy. But I mean, all in all, we have more still yet to come. We're going to be talking with iBuypower. We're going to be talking with the fine folks just about from Chivalry and taking a look at their new game. But one of the things I did want to mention as well is that if you are a PC gamer, which I think most of us are, we have something coming up which has been hosted by Day 9 now for multiple times. It's coming up on June 13th. That's the PC Gamer Show. They're going to be doing some stuff specifically. It's going to be at 2:30 p.m. They're going to be giving a MechWarrior 5 custom themed PC, and they're going to be they've built. It's like one of a kind, and then you can actually vote now if you're House Steiner or you name it, which is I just now. Luckily, I pulled that one out. If you want to go and choose your faction and which custom PC you want to win, you can go pick out the design, and that's happening right now. And again, that's on June 13th at 2:30 p.m., and it's being hosted by Day 9, which is absolutely the guy's super funny and should be super chill as well. And going from there. Anyway, guys. So yeah, let's. What we're going to do is we're actually going to be ready to hang out. We're going to be talking with Mark here pretty soon. I think. Do we have Mark on the line? Oh, we do have Mark on the line. I see Mark. That's a nice. I like your wall setup there. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually at home. I don't have any fancy backgrounds. This is where I work, man.
Well, that's pretty nice. Are those all books on overclocking and NUCs?
No, but there's a lot of books on silicon and the silicon history back there.
Oh, really?
A lot of books. Oh, yeah, absolutely. A ton of books on Andy Grove and some good stuff back there. Yeah.
Well, so when you're not being a big film star and hanging out and talking to all the folks, about all the cool tech over there at Intel, what are you doing? Let's do an introduction and tell the folks a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, I'm Mark Subotnick. Some people call me Bot. That's a nickname that I go by that's carried with me through many, many years in the gaming industry. And I have the pleasure of leading up the enthusiast desktop gaming team at Intel. So that's all desktop gaming, and then you think about anything that people do on the content creation side, media side. So pretty awesome job. I'm really stoked to have it.
Okay.
I'm happy to be here to answer any of your questions that are coming through, the common questions that we're seeing.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think a lot of people have been talking, right now the hubbub and the chatter has been a lot about the NUC, specifically Beast Canyon, which actually has me a little riled up. I had to go put on extra deodorant in between segments just because I had such fun with the Ghost Canyon. I actually carry one around in my back pocket now. It's one of my hotel PCs because I've got a 2060 KO sitting inside of it, right? And I can carry around it and so now to have something that is same small form factor. Throw like we'll have to figure it out, right? I'm gonna obviously go test it.
What GPU you get your hands on, right? You'll throw it in there.
Yes, we'll throw one in there. So more than likely it'll be it'll be like a 760. Because that's what I can get right now. But yeah, whatever. But I'm pretty stoked, and I think it's awesome to see that. I think some of the people were even saying that just NUC is one of those just like little things that Intel just kind of it pops up, and everybody's like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, and then it's just realizing just how awesome it is. And cool to see, like we showed Razer who showed a whole concept about it, and then Cooler Master's been making cases for it and stuff like that, the Element and everything. So, but a couple of questions that we did see is we're talking about the 11th gen. Series H processor is capable of what is essentially 5 gigahertz across 20 lanes of PCI Gen 4, all on a 10 nanometer architecture. Why didn't Intel just use the silicon for the Rocket Lake desktop chip? I mean, that's just one of those quick questions. Quick.
Yeah, well, it's a great question. The plans for Tiger Lake Edge, that's our Enthusiast laptop processor, and Rocket Lake, which is our Enthusiast desktop processor, they're years in the making, right? The decision to deliver the 11th gen Intel Core S series Rocket Lake S on 14 nanometer comes down to 14 nanometer being the most established manufacturing process. And we continue to still deliver leading frequencies on that process, right? Additionally, the microarchitecture changes and IPC improvements have enabled us to improve the performance generation over generation when it comes to just raw performance. Not only that, but we have to consider this is the fun part of the answer. Other things like fab capacity, process technology maturity, feature sets like I/O, frequency, and the number of cores. So it does sound like it's very easy for us to just go drop in a new die and socket, but it's actually a lot more complex than that.
And then, so one of the other things that we also noticed as well is that there's a lot of blank unused silicon near the GPU section of the. Oh, yeah, you're laughing. So yeah, it's just curious.
I'm laughing because wait, well, I'll let you finish the question.
Okay, so yeah, there's just, we noticed that there is, and on the Tiger Lake H die slot. So why the blank, why so much blank space?
Well, I'm laughing because it's a really great question and you're really perceptive. But there's no secret there. It's really just we're using really enhanced promotional photos, and we don't like wasted space. That's part of where the laugh comes from too. So there's actually very little white space on the 11th generation H series design. Just an enhanced photo so that we can get some marketing materials out there.
Oh, okay, okay.
Very perceptive of it.
Oh, I mean, it was just one of those, yeah, when you're looking at, well, and maybe that's the thing, is like when you're looking at certain photos, you're like, hey, what is this? And so, but I also have to realize that I'm also looking at something very zoomed in, and what may seem that way may not actually be that way. What can we expect in terms of, like, what can we expect in terms of efficiency, specifically like, performance per watt and like battery life?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because efficiency and performance are two of the main things that we focus on for a lot of our process, but specifically for this, the engineers really did hone in and focus on this for this generation, really focus on delivering the right balance. The 11th generation H series, it does have a slightly higher SoC power than our 10th gen H series, but since the last generation, we've added dynamic energy efficient turbo, and that allows you to automatically toggle between better battery and better performance modes. And a good example of that is Mobile Mark 18, showing less than half an hour more battery life on a better battery setting for 10th Gen H over 11th generation H. But the 11th Gen H delivers greater than 10% higher Mobile Mark 18 score on the power saving setting. So even with possible variations between all the different makers, the systems with Tiger Lake H are going to be some of the most efficient and long-lasting efficient mobile platforms out there. Something that our engineers have done a lot of time focusing on and making sure that we're going to give you highly efficient, long-lasting platforms.
Got it. Okay. So let's talk about overclocking, or like potential for overclocking. So how many SKUs are we talking about outside of the 11980HK are going to be available for overclocking? Like, how are there going to be other SKUs outside of that, or?
There are. I'll walk you through. What we got going here. Okay, so the Intel Core i9-11980HK, which you called out, is fully unlocked. It's capable of one-click stable overclocking with the help of Intel Extreme Tuning Utility and the Intel Performance Maximizer. The i9-11950 and the i9-11900H are partially unlocked, and that'll give you up to 5 bins of overclocking. And the i7-11800H, is unlocked for up to 4 bins. And the thing I want to note is this is our first overclockable Tiger Lake processor for the mobile generations. And this generation is seeing a lot of overclocking coming to the mobile part. So we're really excited about being able to offer this.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, that's the thing, right? Is like, I think that's the part that is in a little bit just blowing my mind, is that we now have mobile overclocking, right? And I'm excited to see how we go about that. Like I've almost been like trying to put a rig together in my head to basically see what that might be like. Have you guys thought, I mean, like when, we saw you guys walk through the lab and stuff where, we were doing overclocking before. Are you guys have similar setups for the Tiger Lake stuff as well? And especially like, have there been like partners like Acer or Razer or anything like that who's talked a little bit about what a chassis for a mobile processor a mobile like laptop, whatever might be that provides overclocking?
So I can answer only, unfortunately, one part of that question,
Okay.
which is yes, we're actually setting up similar ways to do the testing internally to help our partners. I can't go in the specifics of what each partner is doing yet, but I would love to come back or have someone else come back and share more as soon as we can. But in general, yeah, we're taking overclocking incredibly serious. We're excited about bringing it to the mobile systems, specifically to Tiger Lake Edge, and we'll be working with a lot of partners to make sure that we can give people a really seamless, easy experience to get in there and start playing with overclocking laptops.
Well, you've already sent, like 1 million chips to your laptop partners. Going forward,
Yes.
What can we expect in terms of the rate of like new chips per month?
I can't get into the exact specifics of per chips per month, so I'm going to do my best to give you a real answer here, which is, well, we've announced that more than 80 enthusiast designs tailored for gamers, creators, and professionals, powered by the 11th Gen Intel Core H series processor, and as you noted, with more than 1 million units shipped to OEMs by the time of launch, which is just phenomenal. So our expectations is that anyone who wants a new enthusiast laptop with an Intel 11th Gen Core H processor in it should have a lot of options.
Okay, so here's one of the questions that I know a lot of people always like to ask, but let's talk about power consumption, because the other thing too is like when you're talking about running power at 5 gigahertz, how much power are we talking? Like, is it like 4 watts? 5?
I get the last one more time. Thank you.
Okay, 5 watts.
We're not
We've got
quite
the
that
answer.
efficient yet. So yeah, the 11980HK can hit 5 gigahertz, and that is if the customer designs meeting the thermal and power budget requirements, right? So there's 2 levels of PL2. The base PL2 is 107 watts, and the performance PL2 is coming at 135 watts. Default TAU is 56 seconds. So OEMs have a lot of flexibility in configuring and playing with these values to deliver you, the best performance platform that they see fit, and to delight you as a gamer and as a customer.
Okay. So, I mean, all in all, it sounds like we have some very exciting stuff in mobile outside of just, hey, I get a chip in a NUC, or I get a chip inside of a laptop. Now I've actually got overclocking in mobile and all that sort of stuff. What are some of the other, just open floor, anything else that you think that people want to know that maybe we haven't hit on, or like the part that you're most excited about? And I know you work at Intel, but as somebody who's worked at like with Xbox and everything like that, sometimes it's just like, shout it from the mountaintop. So let's see it. Let's hear it, Mark. I don't know. Can you do like hills are,
We care. We care about you. We care about gamers. We understand we are gamers. It sounds like you looked at my background a little bit and know that I've been in the industry for a while. I live and breathe gaming. And so we're thrilled to be delivering something with this much power, this much options for our customers, that being the people that are making the platforms for you. And to be delivering something that, like we touched on, overclocking to mobile. I'm pretty darn jazzed about that. Extremely excited to be able to bring, a leading performance part to this segment. And I'm really excited about what else we have coming, on the desktop side, more to come in gaming in general. We are committed to delighting all the gamers out there in the world. So that's my soapbox moment. And I guess the last thing I would add is, kind of high driving it on the point that these systems are going to be available. Right, specifically with the Tiger Lake Edge 11th Gen platforms, we think that you're going to be able to go out and get them and start gaming, which is not something we can say about everyone else, right? So trying to be kind, but you can actually go out and get this and have a great experience.
Well, there you go. I mean, that in of itself in 2021 seems to be the high point for everybody. Is like, yeah, I'd love to go actually play with your new toy, but I can't buy your new toy. So that's always good. Yeah. Well, Mark, thank you so much for hanging out with us. All in all, I'm going to come over and read from your library. I hope you have a lot of Calvin and Hobbes books. Those are my favorite. But anyway.
Anytime you're in Oregon, come hang with me. We'll have to do a little gaming too, not just
Oh
reading.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and apparently we got some pretty good gaming with we're going to learn all about next week and as part of this whole week in general. So anyway, Mark, thank you very much. Well, guys,
thank you. Take care.
I have some pretty exciting stuff, specifically just because I wanted this right here. I got a new partner we're going to be talking to in just a few minutes. Obviously, iBuypower, we're going to bring them on in just a second. We're looking at some small form factor cases that we're going to talk about with them. And I'm just like, all in all, like these are things specifically, I'm super stoked about this because we're talking about DIY small form factor build, which, we've been doing just recently on the show. And so let's go and bring these guys on. And let's go ahead and start talking about iBuypower, a little bit about their new stuff, what they do, and then some exciting things that they have coming up as well. So come on up, boys. How you doing?
Great.
So why don't we start with the obligatory, who are you and what do you do?
Sure. King Perez over here, head off the community for iBuypower. Super happy to do that. We cover, on my end at least, collegiate events, live events, which we're all super looking forward to get back to, right? And community development, so Discord, Reddit, and everything that has to do with just interacting and gaming with our fans and customers. So.
Okay. And you are?
I'm Brad Sokin. I'm the lead product manager at iBuypower. So I deal with all of our desktop configurations and do a little bit of like R&D and design for our custom enclosures as well.
Okay. Well, we have 3 things in front of us. And I know everybody who is watching right now is like, what are these 3 things? Because they do look like, some of them look like they're out of time capsules. And then we go all the way over to, I just keep touching it because I'm so excited about it. But why don't you just take us through it and walk us through the journey of what we have here on the table?
Yeah, so back in 2013, we designed this, which is the Revolt small form factor desktop. This is our first custom built small form factor system. Anybody that went to competitive tournaments in 2013, 14, 15 may have seen one of these. It was the official PC of MLG at the time. And then after this, we designed the Revolt 2. So this was also used in a lot of competitive esports. It was the official PC of E-League, I think 2016 or so. People may have seen a bunch of these. And for the 3rd generation of Revolt, what we really wanted to do was take our experiences with working with these 2 systems and kind of like work out all the bugs and keep the things we liked and get rid of the things we didn't like. And so where we ended up with is over here, this is the Revolt 3. It does come in white. We just had the black version with us. So that's one thing. You found it already.
Oh yeah, I was like, and the other thing too is it's like this is solid. Like I mean, like all in all, like this is I can already tell like machining quality, all that. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
It's good. It's good that you bring that up. Yeah, that's a solid aluminum handle. Not having a handle was a big thing that kind of irked us about the original designs, right? They were used in a lot of events, and we had to lug them around, and we know that people that would own these systems would want to lug them around. So getting a handle into the final design was really important for us. And other things that we kind of, like I said, experiences from these earlier systems was compatibility. We wanted to make sure that whatever system someone was trying to build in this case would work. Typically there's a lot of restrictions with ITX, right? Your graphics card can only be this big.
Yep.
Your cooler you only have a 120 cooler, which was the case for the 1st generation. But in this one we have support for triple slot graphics cards, over 320 millimeters in length. We can do a 280 millimeter all-in-one cooler. So like.
What, 280?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because we really wanted to make it so that like whatever you wanted to build in this case, you weren't going to have to go look up some list of this like very restrictive list of components. And I should also mention that while we as iBuypower are typically known for selling full systems, the Revolt 3 will be available as a DIY case, as standalone.
But under a new brand that we have not yet revealed.
Yes.
That'll be
Robeytech.
Robeypower. There it is. Yeah. But in July, August, we're going to do a kind of reveal. For us, it's a very important kind of market that we want to explore as iBuypower. We also aim to make this the most fun that you've ever had with an ITX case, and I think that is hugely prominent with the fact that we do put a handle on this case, right? It is meant to be on the go, just like its predecessors were always meant to be. And for this to apply to our collegiate campuses, for them to do LANs again, right? Oh, LANs again.
Yeah, wow, okay, that's a dream right now.
And for us to even travel with the case, like, it's funny because, you know, I grabbed this one because sheer ease for me was just like, yeah, you guys can carry something like, you know, with your whole arm, I'll just take it with a handle. But for us, like, this is a sense for us, a way to even explore different verticals, to explore production. What you guys do here, this is important for you to be able to use this rig on your desktop and say, oh, I don't need another system. I can bring my powerhouse ITX case, put it in an overhead compartment when you're going into like an airplane or something, and come out and not sacrifice the performance that you can get, you know, regardless of whether you're using a laptop and whatnot. So,
and so the thing that's so crazy about this is, like, now with the option from iBuypower, like, unlike these, which, I mean, come on, these are, I mean, this is crazy. And all in all, this is small form factor. This is genuinely very hefty. And I know with PCs they are, but the thing is you could buy this like pre-configured, ready to go, like if you wanted to. But then again, now as an option, like, you'll be able to just buy this case and put your own parts in it as well. I'm assuming SFF power supply as well, or
yes, SFX or SFXL, both work in here. There will be a version that ships with a 700-watt SFXL power supply included for those who, you know, it can be sometimes hard to get a power supply, especially in the wattage you want. But yeah, with and without power supply, white and black, and it can be purchased either individually as a case, or iBuypower can build a system in it for you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm super stoked to get, and we've already talked, and we are going to get a hold of one of these guys if you want to check these out. And again, the other thing I love is I have so much airflow, you know, like you said, 320 millimeters, which is pretty much every card that you pretty much want to put in this, right? I was trying to like go off the top of my head what a Supreme was, and I don't remember, but for the most part, yeah, like you could put like a Strix or whatever is basically would fit in this. Now you talked about collegiate events, right? Yep. So let's talk a little bit about some of the community stuff that you guys are doing, because you're wearing like a Toyota racing shirt, and so a lot of people are like, well, so it's got an iBuypower, but it's Toyota racing. So why don't we talk a little bit about some of those things that are happening?
Sure. It's actually a really good segue because all of these units kind of have applied to the collegiate scene, right? And for us, the portability and even bringing them and even filling campuses like the UCI esports campus with Revolt, such a pivotal moment to be able to support these collegiate events and even their own esports arenas. So we want to carry that along with this line. For us, collegiate events are hugely important. I mean, we produce events like kind of like the collegiate knockout. We had Fall Guys, and we had 8 different colleges across the nation kind of compete for this for the bag, right? And so and it was really cool to see a community college come out of this winning, and they were like, yeah, right, like from back in the back, and it was awesome. And then of course how this all kind of ties into our partnerships, especially with like TRD, and you're seeing some hats over here, is we actually have TRD approved PCs, right? So they have to come with a certain spec. We put the stamp on top of them, but not only does it showcase our ability to go and partner with Toyota, like a worldwide brand automotive manufacturer, but it also enables us to kind of reach different demographics. It gets us a really, really cool car on NASCAR. Absolutely love it. That's Chandler Smith. But also supports everything that they do in the Performance Center. And even their new and rising talent like Kaylee Bryson, who now kind of races in their midget series. But all of the things that we've done so far really stress the point that we want to cultivate a community, right? Your experience with any manufacturer, but specifically with iBuypower, shouldn't end when you open that box, right? You should have something to come back to. Your reward points have to mean something, and that's what we want to do here. We want to develop that community with you and put on really, really cool events like IBP Craft and a world dedicated to Intel.
Okay. And then the other two is there a way for us to build in this case while driving in a NASCAR? Is that
We'll make them test it. We'll make them test it. I'm sure we can access that. We can ask some a TRD engineer and say, hey.
Well, speaking of building programs, you do have some. That was going to be a legendary segment right there. Speaking of building programs, you guys also have some really great stuff that you guys are doing in partnership with Intel and Minecraft as well. Am I right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we're building out IBP Craft. Now this. Shout out to our community of builders. Our guys on Discord are killing it. We partnered with Meraki, really world-renowned builders to create this world called IBP Craft, but really dedicated to the launch of the 11th gen. And this new map, I think you guys are seeing this right now. This is called the Rocket Lake Raceway. From the top down, you can actually see it's in the shape of a rocket. But it'll be this whole map where you're doing the sky track, you're doing the actual racetrack. The TRD implementation of this is like you'll be seeing or you'll be hearing the kind of car audio that they'll be recording for us, and while you're racing your actual kart. And kind of what I wanted to stress is that if you're even in this server, I would kind of want to hide a PC in like a little block and see if someone kind of Easter eggs it out.
Okay.
That is kind of my sinister strategy to get some people involved in playing.
Sinister?
I mean, think about all the blocks that you'd have to actually mine.
Yeah, I guess that is true.
For a free PC, So there's that. And if you guys want to do, join ibpcraft.mc.gg.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll just be continuing to build on that feature set for our community.
Now, and if you want to send me, checks, I can tell you where that thing is. He actually told me the exact block. So if you no, I'm just kidding. No, we don't. I actually have no idea in terms of where that is. Well, guys, it sounds like some really awesome stuff. But before we go too far, I think I want to talk a little bit about iBuypower in general, because there might be people here who just don't know much about them. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the company and then what else it is? Because I mean, we talked about pre-configured systems. You also have custom cooling loops that you can do, and you have some really cool stuff around that we can talk about. Why don't you jump into that a little bit?
So just as far as who we are as iBuypower, right? We're one of North America's largest gaming system integrators. We've been building systems for more than 20 years at this point. You'll probably see our stuff in Best Buy on shelf and in Amazon. And from our core website, you can configure a custom system, exactly all the parts you want, pick from a list. We'll put it together and test it and ship it out to you. And then we do also offer pre-builts, for those who don't want to wait for the system to be put together, or if you just find one that's exactly what you always wanted. One of the cool new types of pre-builts we managed to figure out is our Element CL. That stands for custom loop. Basically what it is it's taking a lot of the sort of hand-built boutique custom liquid-cooled systems with the clear hardline tubing for your CPU and your graphics card, and we're kind of adding a pre-built spin onto that. So it's a system that's pre-assembled, pre-filled, ready to ship. We custom designed all the fittings in that system to be really easy to assemble. We don't need someone who's got like hundreds of hours of experience building custom loops. You can just show someone how to use Legos and they can put a custom loop together. It's super durable. One of the big things we have to deal with is making sure that it survives when it gets shipped. So, it's everything is braced really well in packaging. We custom designed the box around it, and all that kind of put together also means that the price isn't too much higher. It's $100 or $200 more than an AIO cooled system for a full CPU and GPU loop. It's really cool.
And you get that look, which is what you do.
That clear hardline tubing and that distro plate and everything like that.
You can imagine the drop test.
Yeah.
We did it and we were like, it could be kind of cringe with water in there, but that's how it ships. It ships with pre-filled system.
You're pre-filled and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Well, guys, I want to say super shout out and thank you so much for being here on the show, showing off these this little bit of history and then just where we are from the future, and then obviously getting a chance to do that. Plus, it sounds like there's some really good times hanging out on the Minecraft server, again, all that sort of stuff. Is all the information just if people want to go check out iBuypower.com or whatever it was?
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, iBuypower.com/community. You got that there, but feel free to shop around as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. It wouldn't be a game show without talking a little bit about games. So, for the most part, let's talk a little bit about a new game, and that would be Chivalry, which is just Chivalry 2, which just launched. Let's check out a trailer for that game right now.
For every warrior, There comes a time when a moment will decide your fate. As the throng of battle echoes against steel and shield, and we cry out towards eternity. Find yourself in this moment. Ignite the fire of your soul and survive this day. Fall before me. Another victory for Agatha. Chivalry!
And we are back, and we are joined by a very special guest, Rasmus from Torn Banner Studios. Rasmus, hey, how's it going, Rasmus? How are you? Why don't you, before we go too far, let's do the obligatory, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Rasmus Lostrom. I'm the game director and the CEO at Torn Banner as well. So, manage everything with getting the game out. What are the features of it? Just really driving the vision. Having been there since the first game as well, it was so exciting to get back to Chivalry again. It's been a kind of a surreal week with 4 years of working on this game, finally releasing it, and the reception has been great as well. We're so excited and just so relieved to finish this journey and everything as well.
Well, it feels like the person behind you or the individual behind you is also seems to be relieved and quite relaxed. So it looks like you feel like you've definitely got that post-launch glow about you. Let's talk a little bit about that. And for those people who don't know anything about Chivalry and they're like, wow, and there's even a second game, why don't you do us a light introduction to what Chivalry is and then even what Chivalry 2 brought to the table?
Yeah, so it's a first-person slasher. It kind of brings the Call of Duty and the battlefield to the medieval era. We really try to realize the medieval kind of movie scenes that inspired us as kids and some of our favorite movies. So it's like Braveheart and Gladiator. And something we've really brought to the new one is pushing it even further, how we put you into the movie scenes that we love in those movies. We don't just want to be a multiplayer, competitive FPS, even though, we really value that as well. But we really want to put you like in an immersive multiplayer level, and adding the fun, but also the awesome factor of those medieval movies. So on the fun side, we really have the reference of Monty Python, specifically kind of the Holy Grail and, cutting arms off and still running around, funny voice lines, Shakespearean inspired voice lines. So it's a game you can take as, seriously or not seriously as you want to, depending on how you want to play, what mood your friends are in. And really the stress relief is, at the end of the day, that's what the game is for us. And that's what we want to bring to everyone else as well.
And like you said, the second one it's just released, yeah? And so reception's been good. You want to talk a little bit about what launch was like and everything?
Yeah. The reception has been really good. And it's, it's surprised us as well. The amount of people jumping in, the activity, on our social media and online is great. And the sales are good, which is always the main factor, right? So, it's super good, and we're going to be able to support this game for a really long time as well. And we love working on this game, and it's so exciting to finish the 4-year journey of making the game and the foundation. We're already working on post-launch content now, and it's such a different gear to be in, and it's so exciting to think about the new modes we're going to be able to bring, some of the features that we've announced, like horses, And it's going to be a good couple of years for the game. A lot of updates and a lot of resources put into it.
Okay, so why don't we talk about, can we talk a little bit about what's coming, like now you guys are through, you're starting about post-launch. What do people have that's right on the horizon that they have to look forward to?
Yeah, so we are starting to post kind of on our social media and such on what we're launching. A lot of it is unannounced, and we're going to, start teasing things so we don't have too many things that we're locking down.
Right.
One of the biggest ones, though, is that we are going to add horses to the game, and that's something we're working on right now. There's lots of other things. One of the things that's sooner on the horizon is kind of more competitive and lower player count modes. Our flagship title or our flagship mode is Team Objective. 64 players. It's chaotic. It's that Battle of the Bastards from Game of Thrones kind of feel, and that's the core of like the emotional aspect we want to sell. But we've really worked a lot on the combat, making it competitive and like really engaging duels and such. So one of the first things we're looking to bring is a way to play the more competitive side of the game.
Okay, well, tell me. So, I mean, with a game like a first-person slasher, I mean, there's got to be some really great moments in there. Do you have some favorite ones that you've had, like that you can think of? Like, I mean, I think I saw somebody throw a head during the trailer and stuff like that. But what are some of your favorite things about now that you've shipped the game? What are some of your favorite things about watching people play, or even that you've played on when you've gotten time with the game?
Yeah, it's absolutely the role-playing moments that appear. It's been that way in every single game that we've done. It's when players they're so into fighting, and then suddenly like something kind of weird or kind of funny or surprising happens, and players collectively pause and they're like, "What happened?" And they look at each other. They use emotes, and they use kind of crouching or looking up and down to like nod or turn their head at people. And those moments and like surprise factors in the game. One of my favorite ones was watching a streamer who was running across a bridge, and there's these corpses that are hanging, and he just threw something because he wanted to throw something at the environment, and the body drops and he kills his teammate in front of him because it fell from the top. And, it's no one expected like that to happen, but that's why we put it in, because it's just such a surprising thing. Yeah.
I mean, the streamer going, sorry about that. It's like, or get up. It's only a flesh wound. I mean, if you want to do your Monty Python thing. So I think one of the things is like, so I've also done game development, and one of the things that I always find fun is, when the game releases, you are the top dog. Like, you're as good, you're awesome. How has it been now? Have you gone out there and started to see like other people surpass you from a skill perspective, where you're like, man, I used to think I was like the best at the game, and then now you go and you're like, I'm not very good anymore.
So yeah, I've definitely had that, like doing so much of the game design of the project myself as well. But it's actually been, we've grown the team a fair bit over the course of the project. We started with just about 20 developers, and that's what we had for previous games as well. And at that level, I was always at the top and such, but we've scaled up and we're about 40 people now, and we've got people on the team who are so good that I'm starting to feel that. And then we invited a lot of testers from the community to test, and they've been beating us just every day for months already. So honestly, I was already beat.
You're like, yeah, no, that moment has passed. And I guess that's one of the things when you do about a competitive multiplayer game nowadays. That's always the way it is. Well, anyway, congratulations, Rasmus, on the launch of Chivalry 2. I think it's super awesome to have you here on the show and just to talk a little bit about it. It sounds like we got some exciting stuff and a lot of support still coming for the game. And if people want to check it out, where can they pick it up, or where can they download it?
Yeah, I would recommend going to our Twitter at Chivalry2. We're available on all platforms as well. On PC, we're on the Epic Game Store. And then on PlayStation and Xbox, we're on both last gen and next gen as well. So, play it wherever you want. There is crossplay population-wise, and on Xbox, you can play between the generations. You'll be able to do so soon for PlayStation as well. but you can't party between the different platforms right now.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations to you and your cat, who seems to be getting some nice rest right now. And we will chat with you guys more later. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, guys. Well, we did it. We actually got through the entire show, and did we cover a lot? Let's see. Let's just. I'm mentally going back because it feels like over 10 years ago when I started this whole process. But we talked to Razer. We saw the Intel NUC. We talked about Tiger Lake. We saw iBuypower. We also sat there and hung out with CyberPower. We checked out the new Predator laptops. We talked about overclocking on mobile. And at the same time, we also got to see some ridiculously cool small form factor cases and got to talk to Rasmus and the team over about Chivalry 2. And all of that in the time span of what was 90 minutes. And I'm super glad that all of you guys got to hang out and be a part of that. Now, all in all, this is just the beginning when it comes to E3 2021 and even the news that's still going to come out of Intel and all of these other guys. Remember, guys, don't forget to check out the PC Gaming Show that is going to be happening on June 13th at 2:30 p.m. by day 9. Again, MechWarrior 5. There's an opportunity to win a MechWarrior 5. You can go vote for which house you are in terms of what that custom PC is. And there's just a lot more from a PC gaming standpoint still coming up. I appreciate both everybody being here. We hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we will see you on the next one.